Wow, another nobody YouTuber who wants to review Star Wars. That's so original. And no, you know what? No, shut up. No, I don't want to hear it. Listen, this is different because it's me. And I like spoofs, so I'm going to do some dumb little spoofs and stuff too. Anyways, whatever. Here's Star Wars 1. So the movie starts off really strong. First thing we see is a child's essay about politics. So that's fun. I'll put a quick Cliff Notes version of it here, but I'm not gonna read it. That just sounds so crap. Just do it yourself if you want. After that, then we're introduced to our main characters, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and oh my gosh, and they're Jedi. Oh wow, this is amazing. And they were apparently sent to talk peace or trade negotiations or with the Trade Federation. I love these fun terms. This is a real interesting one. So they were sent to negotiate with the Trade Federation. And so these peacekeeper negotiators, they talk trade to each other and nobody else. And instead of talking peace, actually, they decide to go and slaughter the Trade Federation's forces. So that's all right. So they keep slaughtering, and they push their way into really deep into the base, and they discover an invasion force. So this incompetence actually worked out for the better in this case. That was good. So when they see this invasion force, they perform a tactical retreat and leave to warn the planet that's being threatened. So now we're heading to a new planet. This one. Alright, so on this new planet, the invasion force has arrived, and the Jedi immediately meet a new frog alien named Jar Jar. His people are hiding underwater from the invasion force, but also just a bad geopolitical climate, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so the Jar Jar sees these humans and decides to immediately show them his hidden home. So that's cool. And then they get an audience with the king. Wow, that's amazing. The Jedi decide to ask the king for help with the invasion force, and when all's said and done, the king says, piss off. The Jedi then go to the main city on the same planet, I think, to save the princess and her group, and then leave the planet. So now we're going to another planet. I don't remember the name of this planet though, but it doesn't matter, because they get shot down by the trade blockade that you almost managed to forget about, but nope. Ain't no way you're falling asleep during this class, kids. Really keeping you on your toes here. It's so exciting. They crash land on a new desert planet, and this one's called Tattooing, or whatever. Our heroes are stranded now and want to fix their ship, but too bad, they're poor here. They have space bucks, but not good space bucks for here. But luckily they meet a young dumb slave boy, and he works for some flying blue guy that has exactly the parts they need, and he's willing to bet them in a hover car death race that the boys are racing, and oh boy, story's really cooking now. So Qui-Gon gets to negotiate and is like, I like the way you run things, Mr. Slave Trader, but I have one demand. Throw in the kid, and we have a deal. Ring him up for me, will you, sweetheart? And yeah, a human child's part of the deal now. So they win the bet, they win the kid, and then they fix their spaceship, and they go to another new planet, Coruscant, try to keep up. The Queen demands there be a new leader to face the invasion force, and appoints a chancellor, and at the same time, this religious cult of Jedi decide to viciously interrogate this young child and say that he is too old to join their cult. So that's concerning. Someone should look into this. So anyways, this part of the movie was a bit of a drag, so I'll mention now that throughout the movie so far, there's been a cloaked figure in the background who's been giving enemy forces orders from the shadows and sending his emo tattooed apprentice to hunt down the Jedi. And then a couple other things started happening pretty quickly, so let's do a small little lightning round. The good guys went to the frog people again to ask for help. The Queen did a fake out with a decoy. The frog peeps boss said yes. Jar Jar was made into a general, and then the war begins. Now we're in the home stretch. Tattoo shows up to fight the Jedi again. The Queen goes to take the city back, and Anakin somehow ends up in space and destroys the one single ship controlling the entire enemy force. Tattoo kills Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan kills Tattoo, and then Obi makes a heartfelt promise to take in and train the young boy Anakin. The movie ends with Qui-Gon's funeral, followed immediately by a victory party. Just the perfect amount of insensitivity to end this thing off on. Okay, so if you couldn't tell by now by the way I've been talking about this movie was crap, but like not total crap, you know? Like it's Star Wars in a nutshell, basically. Terrible movie in every way, from cinematography to the script to the acting. But when I want to watch Star Wars, I have no problem rewatching it again and nerding out about the pod racing or the lightsaber battle at the end. There's some fun ideas hidden in here. The music slaps hard. There's no reason for it to be this good, but you find one guy with a little bit of passion, and it kind of just spreads throughout the whole project, I guess. It's really cool to see. Alright, I'm out of niceness. Nice things to say. So, the effects were pretty dookie. Like, half of the time. The racing underwater stuff looked great, so I know they could have made it look nice at the time, but then I look at, like, the droid invasion at the end, and I just... Like, was everyone underpaid? I've seen the clip of Lucas being all, we done goofed at their internal screening, but, like, you have eyes. You could have fixed the small stuff like this pretty easily if you really wanted, but I think Lucas gave up on it early, if I'm honest. There's a popular story of George being with Spielberg in Hawaii during the opening of A New Hope that was elsewhere. He was basically writing off the movie when it was set to debut. It's an interesting story to me. Most people say that, like, you know, cool, Star Wars was like an underdog. Nobody thought that it was going to succeed. Even Lucas himself didn't think it would succeed. Star Wars beat the odds. It's a nice narrative and all, but hearing how Lucas reacted similarly to this one, I actually think it shines more of a light on Lucas's personality. The guy's amazing. He had one of the most successful franchises ever, but on two separate occasions, it seems like he just kind of brushed off his creations. It seems to me like the movie would have benefited from having Lucas in a producing role instead of a directing one, but I don't know this for sure. It just feels that way. And that's supported by the fact that I guess Lucas asked Lawrence Kasdan, I think that's how you say the name, to write the script. And for those who don't know, Kasdan wrote the script and co-wrote the script, officially speaking, but it seems like an understatement to me, whatever, for The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. When I learned about that, I looked up Lawrence to see if this was true and found this interview just completely randomly on theforce.net. I'll put up a screenshot because I don't want to read it. That sounds boring. But the short of it is, George didn't seem to like to write or direct, for that matter. He had plot ideas, and not even full plot ideas, just like major events, specific scenes, stuff like that. But then he sees connecting these events as busy work, and that's not a good thing for a director who's supposed to have a full, cohesive product. But I can't really complain. I like to write every now and then, and I've found myself to be, to have a similar process. But essentially, Kasdan used to act as a natural counter to that. He would help George by connecting those plot points more efficiently, while also fitting in some character moments for growth and development, which were things that George just didn't care about. And by the sounds of it, they liked working together too. But Kasdan turned down Lucas's offer because he thought that episode 5 and 6 were slowly distancing themselves from Lucas, who had been collaborating with other directors and writers and producers during those films. In Kasdan's mind, he wanted Star Wars to be fully attributed to Lucas, so he thought it was best for the prequels to be fully written and directed by Lucas alone, since it was his creation. But I think that was the exact decision that kept this movie from its potential greatness. And that's basically what I see from this, exactly how Lucas is described to write. Good plot moments connected by just not great movie. Good actors who are ecstatic to be there, but who aren't sure what to do and are being given less than adequate dialogue and direction. It's a shame, but when I learned Lucas's writing style is similar to how I try to conceive my own story ideas, it almost makes me soften on the whole thing. I understand it suddenly. It's not the worst movie ever made, definitely watchable with the right mindset, but it's not very good either. You have to sit through a lot of crap to enjoy it. Final score, 5 out of 10. Now, I don't think I'll normally do this with other movies or shows, but this series is so nerdy and there's so much behind-the-scenes info that I thought it'd be fun to do some research on neat behind-the-scenes stuff that I think would be interesting to mention. Apparently this, right here, this communicator, it's a woman's Gillette razor. Someone looked at this and thought, whoa, that looks so alien. Oh, you know what? And then put it in a damn Star Wars movie. We don't exactly know the role, but early in production or even the conception stage, one person who was really vying to get into the movie was Tupac. Yep, the gangster rapper from the 90s. People are guessing that he would have been Mace Windy. God damn it. My script auto-corrected to Mace Windy. Let's stay again. But yeah, Mace Windu. But that part's not confirmed. Would have been a really strange choice, right? It's so weird. But middle school me would have been pretty psyched about it. I was super into all of that back then. And, likewise, someone who wanted to play Jar Jar Binks before Ahmed Best was casted? Michael Jackson. Yeah, this could have been a very different movie.